Welcome back to our channel, where we explore the majestic fishing journeys. The hunts in the vast ocean, where people directly confront the ferocious power of nature in exchange for life, harvest, and value from the ocean. Today, we invite you to follow the brave fishermen, the relentless sea warriors, on their journey to catch the ferocious wolffish with spears and long lines, as well as the overwhelming scene when hundreds of tons of fish are gathered in just one large net in the vast ocean. This is a true, vivid, and harsh story, not just a profession, but a whole life in the middle of the sea, in the middle of the grey-blue ocean and the waves that follow each other endlessly. The fishing fleet begins to break the waves to go out to sea from dawn, when the mainland is still sleeping in a thin layer of fog. On the deck, dozens of fishermen were ready with fishing lines, iron spears nearly 2 meters long, along with pulleys, hooks and auxiliary boats equipped for underwater combat. Their mission today was to hunt giant sea wolffish, a ferocious fish that lives deep under the sea, has teeth as sharp as steel and can weigh up to several dozen kilograms each. The wolffish do not live in groups, but hide among reefs and caves on the ocean floor, only appearing to hunt or when disturbed. To catch them, fishermen cannot use ordinary nets but must use long fishing lines with special iron hooks. And sometimes they throw spears through the waves with powerful thrusts. When the black shadow of the wolffish glides across the water, each spear throw is a contest, not only in terms of skill but also in terms of almost absolute precision, because if the fish misses by just a few centimeters, it will disappear forever into the deep water. The main ship is equipped with a sonar system, which helps detect areas with reefs, where wolffish often live. When the signal is reported, auxiliary boats are immediately dropped, carrying fishermen with many years of experience. They use long fishing lines, sinking to a depth of several dozen meters. Each line is hundreds of meters long with dozens of small bait hooks. Once the wolffish takes the bait, its whole body struggles violently, causing the fishing line to shake violently, and at that time the fishermen have to react extremely quickly. Pull their hands, hold tight, then slowly wind the line with their hands or auxiliary crank, gradually pulling the fish to the surface of the water. However, there are fish that are too big, or so aggressive that they break the iron hook, at which point they have to use an iron spear to finish them off. Each spearing requires coordination between the person holding the handle and the person balancing the boat. When the fish surfaced, its whole body red and thrashing like a hurricane. The fishermen had to rush out like lightning, throwing spears into the fish's body or neck. If the blow hit, the whole boat would rock under the force of the thrashing. Blood would stain the sea, and then the heavy drag of the fish's body onto the ship. A real battle between humans and primitive forces. On deck, other fishermen had prepared ice and containers. As soon as the wolffish was brought up, they used knives to remove the hooks, washed off the blood, and immediately placed them in cold compartments below deck. Each wolffish was extremely valuable, because of its firm, flavorful, and low-fat meat. It was a favorite dish in luxury restaurants. A day of hunting a few dozen was considered a great success. But on lucky days, the crew caught up to 100, equivalent to several tons of wolffish in a single trip. However, that was only part of the trip. after finishing the wolffish hunt. The fleet continues to move further out to sea, to the deep waters where large schools of fish migrate seasonally. This is when the giant nets come into play. Each net is hundreds of meters long and nearly 10 meters high. Spread out on the sea surface like a giant silken sheet, the ship circles the water, forming an arc around the school of fish, usually herring, sardines, and then collects the net using an automatic pulley system. Tons of fish are pulled to the surface, creating an incredible sight, thousands of silver fish glistening in the sunlight, thrashing violently before being dumped into deep freeze tanks. The scene is both majestic and brutal, but it is a true reflection of the lives of fishermen, who make their living from each wave, each pull, each net. To avoid wasting fish, the fishermen work almost non-stop. They clean and classify the fish right on the boat. Put them in a deep freezer at -30 degrees Celsius, ensuring that the fish remain fresh after dozens of hours of fishing. With catches of up to hundreds of tons, the entire fleet must operate day and night, taking turns to rest, and always be ready for sudden changes in the weather. A mild storm can turn a calm sea into a screaming hell. Waves up to 3 to 4 meters high are not uncommon, requiring the fishermen to be brave, knowledgeable, and united. They tighten the ropes, tie up their belongings, speed up the process of collecting the nets, and constantly observe the sky and meteorological radar. In this profession, a second of delay can cost the whole world, catch, or even their lives. When the last net was pulled up, the entire hull of the ship tilted to one side, as if straining to bear the weight of the ocean. Cranes worked tirelessly, transferring fish from the deck to the holds, on the surface of the sea. Scraps of fish floated, seabirds flew, and the stench of fish, blood, and salt water mixed together to form a distinctive, unmistakable mixture. It was the smell of the sea, the smell of labor, of sweat, and of hope. As the ship turned toward port, the red sunset glowed on the horizon, reflecting on the sunburned faces of the fishermen. They had worked for days without rest. Their hands were calloused, their backs were wet, but their eyes still lit up with the joy of victory. They don't need to say much, just a pat on the shoulder, a look from their teammates, is enough to understand. Today they have won the sea again, bringing life, pride, and value to hundreds of families waiting at home. And so, another journey ends. But from here, a new journey begins, when wolffish and seafish are brought to the factory. Processed, packaged and distributed everywhere, from fresh sashimi plates in luxury Japanese restaurants, to family meals in Vietnam, Korea or Europe, all carry within them the story of the sea, of people, and of the nets in the endless ocean. Thank you, viewers, for following today's journey. If you are impressed by the resilience of fishermen on the high seas, please like, share and subscribe to our channel to give us more motivation to make more realistic films about the working life and the value of food from the ocean. See you again on the next trips, where life is exchanged for sweat, courage and things that no one can predict.